What I'm trying to say is, with respect to what Destiny's been trying to do in the last couple of days, as he's like flailing around and trying to defend himself, he's gone back to his old tricks. Number one, what about Hasan? Okay, that's always the thing that has helped him, no matter how ridiculous. Off topic, but new info: the rats have jumped ship. He privately admitted to keeping alleged CSAM, and police are involved now. Yeah, this is why I guess people were like, you have to watch the Willie Mack Show's new video. Bono, aka Destiny's previous supporters and collaborators, just reported to police for allegedly keeping CSAM on his computer and admitting to it.
It's because he continued to write. I didn't know this until way later, but the videos she recorded with other guys, the file names are like screen recording, blah, blah, blah. And then he shows me a screenshot of the top of a video clip and says her boyfriend was recording these on Skype calls. That's absolutely insane to think about him doing all of this if she was 17. Well, this is insane to me because he's saying Rose's boyfriend recorded CP while sending me a screenshot of the alleged CP. So I asked to confirm if he just did that. If you were sending me this, I'm guessing you still have that video. Destiny replies, depends on why you're asking. But yes, I created copies of all of our messages and everything when that court case started. Just to be clear, he's admitting to having alleged CP.
Why does this dude think that this is like a good defense? I mean, I don't think that Willie Slop Show actually gives a fuck about anything. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a mercenary, and I think he's just reading the room and realizing that this is a sinking ship that he must jump, because he was like actively defending and sweeping for him for Destiny for quite a while, even after like the initial accusations of the court cases took place. Like, he was like kind of critical of him, but not really. He was critical of him in a way where it was like still in defense of him. He has utilized Destiny's community to make multiple fairly successful videos on people like myself and many other enemies of Destiny. He is definitely a fixture of that slop tuber community that we talk about. Like, these guys literally looked at Israel's genocide of the Palestinian population and thought, this is a great opportunity for us to farm some drama clicks. And unfortunately, there are a lot of not very intelligent people who have taken their note from this, because they're just like kind of watching something that's easily digestible, and they go, oh, this is a bad person, we shouldn't listen to him. And now he is jumping ship. So it seems like the walls are closing in.
Court case started. Just to be clear, he's admitting to having alleged CP downloaded on his computer. He literally has the video open as I'm talking to him. I go, bruh, there's been allegations at least since my last video that she was underage, and you still have potential CP of her? He replies, I have an obligation to preserve relevant evidence, etc. So I created backups of all of the important / relevant conversations. He continues, I don't think I'm allowed to delete it, lol. I don't know if it counts as hiding / destroying evidence. And I reply, talk to a lawyer, that seems crazy to me. Who keeps this sort of stuff on their computer without 100% knowing if they're supposed to or not? Isn't that something you want to confirm? I continued, you just let me know you have CP videos saved to your computer. You knew it was alleged that she was underage. You still have them. Do you see how fucked this is? So now I've confirmed that this guy has child on his computer. In my 8 years of reaching out to people over allegations, I've never had anyone admit that to me. The last message he sent me was, 1, I don't even know 100% of her age was legitimately less than 18 when these were taken. So basically, he's not 100% sure if he has child on his computer. He's just 99% sure. Got it. 2, I'm pretty sure I have an obligation to preserve stuff related to my court case. I've talked about it with my lawyer already, specifically with regards to the Rose stuff. So he went from, I don't know if I could delete this, to my lawyer says it's totally fine to keep. I don't know the law, but the idea that his lawyer would tell him to hold on to CP for a civil case just doesn't seem likely to me. I don't know. LawTube can figure that out. 3, if something were to come out of this, I don't know if I'd want to wipe everything and not have something to turn over to the authorities. If hypothetically, whenever a political creator is about to give a hypothetical, you know you're about to hear some weird shit. If hypothetically her boyfriend or whatever was actually trafficking her or getting her to other dudes on video for him, and if there was ever some kind of investigation into that, am I hurting the chance of looking into him by deleting all of this stuff? Oh, so now the reason he's keeping the CP.
Yeah, no, there's a justifiable reason for it. He actually has the utmost highest morals at all times. Wow, from the guy who has actively debated the ethics of ethical CP, ethical CSAM, comes an opportunity for him to have that in his hard drive. Interesting.
Is because of
Destiny be like, I'm a white hat pedophile, actually. You don't understand.
a hypothetical criminal case that he is not pursuing at all. Okay, maybe these reasons are legally sound advice that came from his lawyer. Maybe he's lying and just saying anything to make it sound better to me. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. I just know this guy's admitting to having CP in my DMs, 60 gigabytes according to him. Seriously.
Yeah. Destiny be like, excuse me, what if there was a nuke that was about to go off in New York City and the only way to stop it is to insert a USB with CSAM into my computer and watch it? What then? And then, of course, the intellectual titans cult of sycophants will literally look at that and go, that's an amazing argument. I never thought about it like that. Actually, you are right to do so. That's one of the most like ridiculous aspects of this this entire situation. Beyond the criminal element, beyond the fact that like there are still people who are so deluded. If your entire fandom revolves around you making the best argument possible and ritualistically humiliating your interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas, and you can't even come up with like a convincing counter narrative here, then what do you have? You have nothing that remains. Like a couple of the reasons why people still hold on to this idea that like Destiny's a force for good, actually, even though he's just a little bit of a gooner, was because one, he is actively de-radicalizing people, right? He is so effective at de-radicalizing people. I've seen no evidence of this, okay? I've seen no evidence of this whatsoever, especially because like he still holds a lot of reactionary perspectives. He just says, you know, you can say the N-word as a white guy and shit on marginalized people all the time, except, you know, you just have to vote Democrat while doing so. And not only that, but also he can't even help his own son. If he was a better father to his own son wouldn't have turned into a Nazi. So clearly he has failed on that front demonstrably. And the other idea that people love him is because he is this like intellectual warlord, a giant that can best anyone in the marketplace of ideas, no matter how incredible their intellect might be, right? He can go toe-to-toe with intellectuals that are subject matter experts and still defeat them in the marketplace of ideas. That also was an abject failure with the conversation that took place between him and obviously Norm Finkelstein, even though his cult still deluded themselves into believing that he didn't make a process, okay? But especially now, even if you're viewing this from the perspective of drama, okay? Even if you're viewing this from the perspective of drama, the way that he has actually dealt with this criminal incident is so stupid. I brought up one of the examples yesterday. Okay? No hate, big dog, but I really think that if you or any other debater would debate a lawyer, you would lose. Wait, what? Debate a lawyer? What? I don't know what you're even saying right now. I didn't say I'm going to debate a lawyer. What? I don't even know what you're referencing. But what I'm trying to say is, with respect to what Destiny's been trying to do in the last couple of days, as he's like flailing around and trying to defend himself, he's gone back to his old tricks. Number one, what about Hasan? Okay, that's always the thing that has helped him. No matter how ridiculous, no matter how up something he's saying is, he can always turn around and say, well, what about Hasan? Okay, well, that ripcord doesn't work here. Okay, it's clearly not working because this is like a criminal thing that he's doing. And that hasn't worked. So he has also started the process once again, or never really stopped the process of victim blaming, specifically going after Pixie, who is in a court case as a victim of the distribution of revenge porn. Okay, and he's turning around and attacking Pixie and anyone he can get his hands on, anyone he can like belittle. But even in those counter arguments, even in those deflections, like they're so silly. Those deflections are so unimaginably silly. Like he'll just be like, "Why does nobody care about the person who potentially filmed this CSAM?" It's like, what the do you mean? Why does nobody care about the person who filmed the CSAM? Like, Nobody knows that person. You know that person. You have direct involvement with that person. You should be the one who cares. That's not an act of deflection. What do you mean? Well, I'm just the recipient of CSAM as opposed to the person who procured it. Okay. Why the do you think that's an argument that actually maintains your innocence? That just means there's another guy out there who's also an awful piece of shit. That doesn't make any sense. You can't turn around and be like, well, Your Honor, I may have purchased it, but someone else made it. And from what I understand, the only reason why they figured out that this person that he was actually sending the revenge of others to in solicitation of CSAM and even actively trying to traffic this minor, okay, both are different crimes. That person was 17. And the reason why people figured out that that person was 17 was because he flexed on the haters to reveal information about this person, seemingly, so that he goaded people into figuring out who this person was, to identify who this person was. And then they did. It makes no sense. And now that they did, now he's cooked. Just yesterday, he lied by claiming there was nothing to give to the police. In yet another shocking case of self-sabotage, the omni-liberal claimed yesterday he had no evidence to give to the police regarding Rose. Today, Willie Mack Show posted a video explicitly detailing evidence that Destiny gave him, including file names, purported CSAM sent by Rose. Destiny goes on to confess that he has made copies of not just his friend's messages, but all with Rose and all attachments. Would he be incapable of going to the police with these files? If you send me this, I'm guessing you still have that video, he says. He says he's not sure if she was under 18 when the video was taken. The video title just commented on a date that is obviously before is claimed to be her 18th birthday. As if this couldn't get any more bizarre, Destiny goes on to tell Willie that the reason he is preserving this evidence is to help a potential investigation. The exact thing he told Eli B again, he wasn't able to do. Incredible stuff, Steven. Bro, at its most, there is also obviously a permanent victimhood narrative here at the heart of everything. It's like he distributes revenge that he has filmed both consensually and unconsensually to a random person on Discord in an effort to like that person because he wants to like that person. Turns out the person is also 17, which is, extra insane and criminal. Okay. But even in that process, he's been able to try and present himself as the real victim here. Is like, oh, well, my porn got leaked too. It's like, bro, why were you sending it out? What the f do you mean? Why were you distributing it? Why were you filming it without the consent of both parties? Why were you distributing it without the consent of all parties involved? This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But clearly, even though plenty of people initially were like, oh man, I'm actually very upset about this, they still turned around and eventually found that there was a good reason to protect Destiny here, to defend Destiny here, because he's like, his enemies are so much worse than him. Me. Ironically enough, that's what they literally think. That I'm actively terrorizing the country. I'm a hater of America. I want to sabotage America. I'm a terrorist. And he's the only bulwark against growing communism in the country that they've been deluded into thinking is a reasonable force to reckon with, or even a scary one at all. Yeah, it turns out Pedstiny reminds me of Onision, but the debate lore version. Yeah, if Onision was at least a convincing enough debater, he probably would have been able to maintain his career, I guess. He is trying to present himself as a victim once again in this process too. He's like, well, I was just duped. I was duped by a 17-year-old. I'm actually the real victim here. Yeah, here's the other victim here, primary victim, Drew Pavlov. For God's sake, why couldn't Destiny just not be like this? Bro, I made all these pro-Destiny videos with my face in them. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of people in his cult. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of his orbiters that maybe everything he was saying was a lie from the start. If he always operated this way and you found him to be a charismatic figure, perhaps you were deluded into shaping your worldview around the personal vendettas of a maniac, a sociopathic villain. And I know that cult deprogramming takes a lot of effort, but considering that this is just someone you have no interest in, someone who you don't know at all, when you find out that they're a freak This is a good point of severance, the easiest exit ramp of all time, to be like, yeah, this is my break off point. Perhaps the things that he was saying and doing all along might have been to serve his own personal agendas, to serve his own personal vengeance mission. Everything he does for himself. It's not like he's like hiding it either. That's it. So, you know, I welcome people finally coming to that conclusion on their own. It took far too long, but it is wild. Yeah. Man has stupid take and claims Destiny isn't a pedophile. Destiny responds by saying, no, actually, I am a pedophile. What the
Trapped in a cave looking for diamonds. That's funny. I'm in the same cave looking for miners.
What? What is even happening over there, man? I don't want to know. It's like one of those things that's like so gross that I don't even want to touch that. That's my third rail, you know? I don't, oh God. I feel like I'm staring into the void and it's staring back at me. That guy is also a pedo. Jesus Christ. It's just the ultimate debate pervert tactic. Neuter your opponent by admitting to being a pedophile. I know, but like, I just don't, I don't, his subreddit is deleting posts about it. His cult will never snap out of this. I don't think there is, I mean, I think this has entered a different stage now, especially considering that some of his most like loyal community members and orbiters, a self-described term, by the way, are actively jumping ship, and his community is marginal. It's ultimately very loyal, but it's tiny, and it only works when there are other seemingly objective, other external forces that he can deploy. Like Willie Slopshow is a great example of this. This guy used to be another one of his orbiters. He jumped ship when the revenge porn stuff came out. Many other examples as well. But like very clearly, it's now come to that point. So I think that there is going to be even more pushback from people that are around him. His mods are deleting stuff. Yeah, I know. That's not surprising to me at all. I'll be honest with you. That's not even remotely surprising to me at all. I mean, look at LSF. They also, like, they're very good at brigading Reddit. I'll give them that. They're very good at brigading Reddit, and they're very good at like creating an environment of plausible deniability. But there are certain things that you just can't continue doing when the crime is far too severe. It usually leads to people even in your own community going, nah, that's gonna tarnish your good reputation forever, and it should. The only reason why I think it's gotten to this position is because there was never accountability. For far too long, he just kind of got away with doing stuff like this because it's not the first time he's done shit like this. I mean, there are so many different clips of him just like openly talking about how he thinks 15-year-olds are hot, so many messages that he's put out there. And people were able to just like avoid seeing this, avoid recognizing that this was like weird behavior. So he said in a leaked chat, I can just meme it away and they'll believe me. Yeah, I mean, he thinks his audience is comprised of absolute buffoons. That's true. Like he genuinely thinks that his audience is very stupid, and the remainder of his audience is very stupid. Let's be real. Like even if you think like there is good reason to still defend him because he's still ultimately a force for good, like there's no like philosophical ethics justification for how much harm he is able to do to anyone and everyone in his vicinity. And if you can't comprehend that like this person's moral compass is completely out of whack, especially when he's behaving like this with regular frequency for the past 2 decades of his like media career, I don't know. I don't know what more you need to see. At a certain point, you have to really reflect on who you are listening to, whose worldview are you adopting, who's playing a formative role in your understanding of the world. For me, I thought maybe the consistent failure of his analysis would have been good enough for some people to jump ship. I love that this is what I mean. There are still people who will actively fight his battles Obviously, far less in numbers now. 2022 is the last time he spoke. And then once in 2023, comes back in here just to say, deny, deflect, attack. Sounds like self-report, literally you. The question I have for someone like this guy, is really reflect on all of the things, really reflect on things that you have heard about me. Almost all of them have come from Destiny's community. Okay? Do you feel like it was a negative framing that actually took root and caused you to believe that I am a defender of certain indefensible things, a person who's done awful shit? If you were to close your eyes and think like, if you're defending Destiny right now, then I certainly have not done anything even remotely as bad. I've done nothing that is even remotely criminal. It's all pure fabrication. Honestly, I liked you before, but I saw through the bullshit since the Ethan debate. Oh God, that's an even dumber thing to admit. Jesus Christ. You're doing Destiny's work for him. You coming in here trying to point the fingers elsewhere is literally his deflection strategy. No, for sure. Like turning around and being like, Hasan has received unsolicited nudes. This is exactly the same. No, it's not. And nobody thinks that. You can just keep repeating it to an increasingly shrinking audience of sycophants, but that's not the same. That's ridiculous. And it's that lack of accountability that unironically causes a person like Destiny to continue spiraling out of control, because without any sort of accountability whatsoever, of this sort, you just feel like you're ultimately incredibly powerful, far more powerful. Like no one can hold you back. And then you keep doing these incredibly selfish and increasingly more harmful things to other people. Like even going through the process, it's like I bought a house for myself and my family. People make up that my father is a billionaire. He's not. But even if he was, it still wouldn't make any sense as like a reasonable point of contention. He's not. I take care of him. I take care of my whole family financially, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do so. Hasan doesn't donate, or if he actually donates publicly, then it's actually just for show. All of his fundraisers amount to nothing. Hasan doesn't go outside. Okay, when he goes outside, he should get arrested for, violating laws. Like it's at a certain point, you have to realize it's not even about politics. You just like have developed personal enmity towards a content creator for no reason whatsoever. You just were primed into feeling this way, and you made it into a much larger issue in your mind and in the communities that you frequent. The greatest example of this is the whole idea that like I was going to go to jail or something because they were saying I was like threatening to kill a random chatter with a gun. That wasn't the case at all. Someone had issued a death threat, and I jokingly flashed my airsoft and said, good luck. And that is a perfectly normal thing to do. That is, it's not like a death threat at all. And they tried to, They whipped themselves up into a frenzy thinking Hasan is going to go to prison any day now. And of course it never happened. Why the fuck would it happen? That's ridiculous. Me saying even if it was a real gun, me saying like, I'm going to defend myself. So to someone who was issuing a death threat as I was laughing is not, that's not a bannable offense at all. But for some people that only get their notes from like Asmongold, Ethan Klein, and Destiny's community, they thought this is it. This is the moment that he goes down. But that moment never came. But that resentment still continued, and it probably festered, and it grew in that process, because then you said Hasan is an unaccountable force. He must control the media. Okay? Take accountability for mistakes. Literally admit when you're wrong, and that's it. Not gonna lie, the speed of that snipe is crazy. Not really. Literally, when even flashy, you're on Twitch, not Kick. Plausible deniability. Wait, what? I am on Twitch, and I did it on Twitch, and I didn't get banned for it. And the reason why I didn't get banned for it is because I didn't do something that was bannable. And the very same people that actually loved when Moist Critical did it to Sneeko hated it when I did it to a random person that was coming in here to issue a death threat to me. One must ask the question, why? Because a lot of this stuff online is just parasocial activities, okay? You identify with a content creator and you develop a personal relationship with a content creator that doesn't actually exist. And then you think that there is a real issue when that favorite content creator turns around and says, this is a real issue. And then you go and you wage their battles at his behest, but it doesn't actually go anywhere. So then when it doesn't go anywhere, you go, well, there's got to be an alternative reason as to why this didn't go anywhere. It's not because my favorite content creator was wrong and he actually made a mountain out of a molehill. It must be because he has a tremendous amount of power. He must be all powerful. He must be controlling. He must be the puppet master behind Twitch. A lot of these people rightfully call out the Republican Party and the MAGA cult. They call out the MAGA cult for how insane it is. They call out Republicans for how uneducated their decision making is. And yet, they have deluded themselves into thinking in an identical way that just makes no sense whatsoever when it comes to someone like myself. They can't comprehend it. They're like, why is mainstream media not aware of this? Maybe they just didn't watch the right YouTube videos. Or maybe they're adults. Maybe they don't have a parasocial relationship developed with the content creator that is now outed as a pedophile procurer of child sexual abuse material that you did. Maybe normal people who don't spend every waking moment online trying to look for new lolcow targets, okay, adults with a job, journalists, academics and the like, they actually see a guy like Sex Pestiny and they go, ew, gross. Why is he debating ethical CP? Ew, gross. He said that white supremacists should mow down Black Lives Matter protesters. That's insane, okay? That's it. And they just write that shit off instead of going, hold up, let me hear this guy out. Because when you say, hold up, let me hear this guy out, you seemingly start singing in a very different frequency. You start defending things that you previously thought were indefensible. He makes points. Okay. I've seen it. I've seen it happen in my own community. There's a, you'll have like a loyal fan, okay? Months, if not years in here. And then there's like one issue where they disagree with me on, and then they look for like someone to provide a counter narrative. And instead of like making up their own mind, they just they fall to the mercy of another person. And if that person has any motion whatsoever or can make a credible counter narrative fit that gives them a sense of comfort, they go, oh, this is my new intellectual daddy now. And then they become lifelong fucking haters. But in the process, like I've pulled logs before of people that literally would be like anti-racist, actively fighting against white supremacy, only to turn around a couple months later to say like, no, white people should be able to say the N-word. It's like, how the fuck did this happen? Well, I know how it happened. It's because you went to the community of a guy who couldn't even actually clean up his own home, clean up his own backyard, be a good father to his own son, who literally allowed his own son to become a fucking neo-Nazi. A guy who can't even be a good father to his own son, who can't even stop him from being in the mercy of alt-right politics and neo-Nazis. How the fuck is he supposed to be a guy who shepherds people away from reactionary politics? One must ask themselves, perhaps he's not shepherding you away from reactionary politics at all. He's just adding the Democrat, the Democrat designation to reactionary politics. That's it. So if you're like a, I don't know, 37-year-old or whatever, and you grew up in the Gamergate era, and you loved all the shit that they were doing on 4chan poll, okay? And you're looking for someone who is going to best everyone else intellectually, and he still maintains that same edgy nihilistic streak when arguing on issues because he doesn't care about anything and simply cares about winning the optics of an argument, and still allows you to say the N-word and things of that nature, and still allows you to be edgy, still allows you to like cyber stalk people. But now these new villains are no longer like liberal journalists, if you were like a Gamergate guy, but instead now it's the scary leftist communist socialists that are trying to do terrorism on U.S. soil, and you delude yourself into believing this narrative. Did you actually grow from your past positions? Did you actually learn an alternative way of existence? Did you actually change your mind at all? Or do you just still do the same exact shit that you were doing, but instead of calling yourself like a like a neo-Nazi or alt-right or whatever. You're just now calling yourself a Democrat. Just simply calling yourself a Democrat and still being a fucking racist doesn't mean that you changed at all. You're still an edgelord, and you still need to grow up. And that comes from within. That's it. Hasan, you said you were doing Zumba on a rooftop when 9/11 happened. Not cool, bro. Yeah, that's a joke. It's me making a joke about Islamophobia. Anyway, so much of this also is just like simply just offering zero charity to people that you have designed as like a permanent enemy. You know? Enough well poisoning. This guy's my permanent enemy. So therefore, even if he's making a joke, it's like very clearly, I'm going to take it seriously. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not even going to think about like what that might be about, you know? It's 2001. I was 10 years old. Are you fucking stupid? I was in Turkey. What do you mean? I was trying to make a joke. My bad, dog. My bad, gang. It's all good. Sorry for popping off on you. 2024 response thread, if you want to compare it to this year. No, I have it right here. The HasanAbi Census website.